here now. You guys are seeing it all right? Okay, perfect. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go through and talk about the Moxi system. And I'm gonna give you an overview, kind of just the idea of this one is just to get you guys started on using Moxi and the tools and things that are available so that you know what's there and what you can do with it and how it all works. So I have actually two different logins. I have a login for Utah on 21 Online, and I have a login for California on 21 Online. And so I'm going to try. I've never logged into Moxi on the California side of the 21 Online for me. And so my thinking today was I'm going to do it that way because since I've never done it, you guys should be able to see what it looks like and how it works when that very first time that you log in, so that you can see what the whole process looks like. What may or may not happen is I'm not sure if it's going to let me do everything on the California side because I'm not licensed here, therefore I'm not part of your MLS, and I don't know if it's going to be connected to the MLS. So if it's not, then I'll switch over to the Utah side, but it's still the same concept. It's just you'll be seeing a map of Utah and stuff. So anyway, all right. So to access the Moxi system, you can do it one of two ways, although the one way, well, both ways are going to be a few clicks, but the one way, depending on what you're trying to do within the Moxi system, can be a shortcut. Meaning if you're going into Moxi Engage, which is what you're going to use most of the time, you can access that through a pretty quick process. But if you're accessing any of the others, either go through 21online.com, or if you go to up at the top here on the let me hide this. Up here, if I were to type in engage.century21.com up here, then that can get you straight into Engage. So you don't have to do a login to 21 Online, go to Moxi, click on this, click on that. If you do just engage.century21.com, it'll take you straight into Engage. And then from Engage, you could bounce to wherever else you want to go. But I'm going to just show you the way to do it through 21 Online. So when you go to 21online.com, you're going to log in with your first name, last name at century21.com, put in whatever the password is, and then it's going to land you here on this dashboard. From the dashboard, the way that I do it is I go over here to this menu. You could come up here in this search bar and type in Moxi. That would work as well. I just always tend to go to menu and then productivity hub right here and click on that. Once you go to the productivity hub, that's going to give you access to everything, all the tools that you would probably use. So meaning the majority of the tools you're going to use in 21 Online, you're going to do that through the productivity hub. Okay. So once I get into here, these are in alphabetical order. So I'm just going to scroll through the tiles till you get down to the M's. And then you'll see Moxi Engage, Moxi Impress, Moxi Present, Moxi Websites. And from here, you could click on any of those and it's going to take you to essentially the same spot. So it doesn't matter if you're trying to access the Engage, the Impress, or Present, or the website. Click on any of these and it's essentially going to take you to the same spot. And I'll show you what I mean by that when I say essentially. So I'm first going to click on, I'll just do the Moxi Engage right here, learn more. Once I click on that, it brings me to here where it says access Moxi Engage. So now remember I said essentially, it doesn't matter which of those four I clicked on, it's going to take me to the same spot. The reason I said essentially is each of them is going to bring you to this same screen. It's just where you can see the mouse pointing at access Moxi Engage. If I had clicked on Present, it would say access Moxi Present. If I had clicked on the websites, access Moxi Websites. Once I click on that, any of the four is going to take me to the exact same spot. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to click on this. Now, it's probably going to have me do a few extra steps this first time logging in than what you typically are going to have to do. So if this is your first time going in as well, it's going to have you do a few things first. And then let me just point out here, this popped up, this welcome to Moxi Works, open my learning platform to where it'll take you into where you can do some online classes about Moxi if you want, okay? I'm gonna cancel out of there though, and we're gonna go into the system here. And I'm trying to decide, I've been like, all at lunch, I've been trying to figure out, okay, which one should we do first? So I have mixed feelings. Do you guys have a preference of, do you wanna go through Moxi Present first, Engage, the website, or Impress? Okay. Moxi Engage it is then. That's where we're going, is to Engage. Yeah, I'm going to show you. So, okay, so I'm going to click up right here. So now notice though, remember I told you that regardless of which one you click on, it's essentially going to take you to the same spot. This is what I was meaning, is regardless of if I had clicked on the Moxi Present, Moxi Engage, Moxi Impress, or Moxi websites, it's any of those is going to have brought me to right here. So that's why I say it really doesn't matter which of those you click on from 21 Online, because you end up at the same spot either way, okay? So, but we're going to click on the Engage. So I'm going to come up here, click on Engage, and so now it's going to take me to Engage. Engage is the CRM. This is where you're going to have all your contacts, where you're going to manage stuff. So the first thing that it's going to pop up and ask me to do here. Now, and keep in mind, this only happens the very first time that you log in. After that, you won't have to do this. So the first thing it's asking me here is, how would I like to sync my Moxi Engage? You have two different choices that are going to pop up here. So let me click on that. I can either do Gmail or Outlook. Those are the only two options you have. So you have to either have, you have to be using your @C21Everest email address or a Gmail. If you don't have a Gmail, or you're not using the @C21Everest email address, you better go create a Gmail, because that's the only way you're going to be able to use the system, is you have to have a Gmail. So I've had some people that will say, well, I don't want to have a Gmail. I use a Yahoo or Hotmail or I was just gonna make a joke about if you're old and you use AOL, which my wife, I finally convinced her to move over to Gmail recently, and I was like, "You're not old enough to still be using AOL. Come on, honey." Anyway, so if you are using one of those, what I'm going to recommend that you do is go set up a Gmail and forward it to your AOL. Then, if you're still using AOL, I was gonna really make fun. My mom she will be 90 in January, and she still has a Juno email address. So, that was going to be the joke I was going to use. If you're still using a Juno email address, you got to go, get with the times and get a Gmail. So, all right. So what it's going to do then here is it's asking for this Gmail or the Outlook, which again, if you're using @c21everest.com, you could click on Outlook. Sometimes there are other people who have an email address that is just @outlook.com, but unless it's the @C21Everest, it won't work. Okay, so it's only got, those are your two choices. Okay, so I'm going to click on the trying to decide, should I do that? Yeah, I'll just do Gmail. So I click Gmail, then I'm going to hit confirm. It's now going to bring me up, and it's brought up these different choices I have that are available for my Gmail. So I'll just use this one, I guess, the C21 Everest Trainings Gmail. So it pops up here and it's saying it wants access to my account. I'm going to say allow. So it's now connecting my Moxi Engage with this Gmail account. Now, before you do it though, which some of you have probably already done, I want to make sure that you know that once you do that and select the Gmail and then connect it to your Gmail, it will bring in any contacts you have in that Gmail account. So if you don't want that to happen, then go set up a new Gmail without bringing them in. But you can always get rid of them if it does. If it has, and I'll show you what I mean on mine, but I always just want to make sure that people know that if you, once you connect it to that Gmail, any contacts that you have in that Gmail are automatically going to be imported into this system as well. So I don't believe I have any associated with that email I just used, so there shouldn't be any contacts coming in. All right, the next step. So the next thing it's going to ask you for here is to set an income goal. So the system is going to keep track of your production for you and let you know throughout the year. It'll, at any time you can go in and see, how am I doing in terms of where my production is on what my goal is. So how much production I've had versus where I'm at, and it'll show you a percentage and things. So we're just going to put in what our income goal is. And since it says 175,000 here, I'll just put that in there and then hit set goal. And it's thinking about it. All right, so now next step. So this is what you were asking, Charlene. How do I now get the contacts from either Zap or Business Builder over to the system? So this is the next step. So right here, you can see it's popped up, welcome to Engage. With Engage, every person, task, and significant behavior is accounted for. Yeah, okay, got it. Your business at a glance, got it. You can read through these as it pops up. Welcome to your dashboard. Either start a tour or skip. I'm going to skip, but it will give you a tour through the system. And welcome to the Moxi Engage Dialer and Messenger. So, so it's telling us here you have the power to send text messages and voicemails to your sphere right through the Moxi Engage system, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to say, let's go. All right. So now the next step is, whoa, I don't know what happened there. All right, the next step is, do you want to import your people over? Okay, so it's asking here to migrate your CRM data to Moxi, and you have three choices. I can either select to do market leader, which would be the Business Builder. I can select Zap if my contacts are in Zap, or you can select the please don't bring any of my CRM data over to Moxi Engage. You're opting out of any migration. Now, the other thing is it shows you this. You only have one option. I had an agent actually call me today that asked me, what if I have contacts in both Market Leader or Business Builder and Zap? And unfortunately, it only lets you select one and do one of those. So the thing I forgot to tell the agent that I just was thinking of those, I think you can get them to sync up first and then select the one and bring it over. I'm gonna have to verify that though, I'm not positive. So anyway, at this point, you just would decide. So for Charlene, where you were asking, you would want to just select your Business Builder up here and then click go, and it will bring those in. Okay.
There's a spot under Century 10 it says agent dashboard people. Because I'm the broker, I have everybody's information.
Oh yeah. So yeah, hold on to that. Yes. Correct. Yes, that's going to only go to yours, not the whole company. Yep. Okay, so from here, I'm going to select the market leader or whichever one you're wanting to do. I'm going to actually just do don't bring any over. I don't think it would anyway, but then you click go, and then it's asking you to confirm. You know, if you opt out of this, is what it's telling me, because I did. You won't be given the option again. So, all right, so now it's telling me I'm all set. If I had selected it to bring contacts over, then what's going to happen is it'll start working to bring them over. Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's got a little bunny coming out of a hat, says that they're in progress. And then what's going to happen is it'll send you an email, and depending on how many contacts you have is how long it's going to take before that email shows up. So shouldn't take too long before you get it. But once you've done that, you can see now that I'm now into the system here. Okay. So I'm now into the Engage system. So, and real quick, I just want to show Charlene, because on hers, because she's the manager, oh, it's good, you're on agent. But if you clicked on that little thing right there, so sorry, you can switch to manager mode. So that's manager mode would let you see all of the agents.
Yeah, that's what came up.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. but you can switch it back and forth. All right, so from here, actually, I am going to switch over. Sorry, I'm going to switch over to my Utah one for a second here, because I just realized that I don't have, with me not having any contacts in there, it's going to be hard to show you stuff. So I'm just going to get to the same spot here in the on the Utah side of things for me. All right. Now, so which did it put you onto the dashboard? Are you on dashboard? In the contact?
Now it's giving me all this stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, once you say okay to all that, then you'll be on the dashboard. All right. So now what's going to happen then is, now that you've got stuff set up, your contacts are in the system, it's going to put you onto this dashboard. Okay. From the dashboard here, which, by the way, because I'm doing this, I put it on Zoom for Heather. I am recording it as well. So this we'll have a recording of this for you guys to access after too. So if you miss stuff, get overwhelmed, whatever, just know you can go back and look at it. So, okay. So with this, you'll see here on the dashboard, I'm going to run through and explain what each of the pieces of the dashboard are and how all of this works. So the very top thing is this stay in flow. And the cool thing about this stay in flow, the thing I love about this system over what Zap did or Business Builder, which, Phil, I just realized your flashlight's on your phone, just so you know. But is this stay in flow? The stay in flow, the idea of it is the system itself. One of the things we teach to you guys is that you should be calling between 3 and 5 SOI every day, right? You should be calling your SOI every day, 3 to 5 people. Well, the good news is, once you get your contacts into here, the system automatically is going to offer up to you, here's the 5 people you should call today. So, that's what's cool with this, is you can set it up to do that. Now, the other thing that's cool about it is, if you click on this little gear icon right here, it pops up and you can decide what the cadence is you want it to. So the system's going to offer up to you, here's 5 people you should call today. And it's going to offer it up based on how often do you want to be calling? Every 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. So the default is 90 days. But if you wanted to change it to say, I want to call the people in my SOI every 60 days, you could do that. Or 30 days, you can put it there, and then it's going to offer you up the people to call. The other thing that you have control of deciding is, what people do you want it to offer up for you? Do you want it to offer up people that are pending, which you probably don't want it to offer up the people that are pending, because you're probably already in contact with them more than every 30 days, I hope, if you're pending, right? And if you're not, probably see Charlene, because she'll want to talk to you about that. But same thing. Yeah, if you're not in contact with them at least that often, they'll be calling her. So same thing with active. If they're an active client, you probably are going to be in contact with them more often, so you might not necessarily select that. But prospects, marketing, past seller, past buyer, you probably potentially might want to include leads on there. Uncategorized personal or collaborator, I'll explain what those are later, but you probably don't want them checked. And you can decide later if you do. But so any new leads, any new people that come in or leads that come in is going to offer up there as well. Okay. So that's what this, and if you just click on the gear icon again, it will close that out. But you'll notice it's got for me, here's 5 people for me to contact. From here, I can click on this reach out, and it gives me the option to call or neighborhood news. And the reason it's only giving me those 2 is because I don't have an email address in here for court. If I had an email address in here, it would also give me the option to call, email, or neighborhood news. Okay. The stay in flow. Oh yeah, right here in reach out. Yes, sorry. Yeah, in fact, I will 100% agree with that. And I'm going to show you what neighborhood news looks like and things today. But yes, neighborhood news is amazing, and it is such a cool tool. And I'll show you what that looks like and how it works here. All right, so that's the stay in flow. Is so right from here, it's offering me up 5 people to contact. I could then come in here, click on this. I can click call. It gives me the phone number. It's going to then pop up to where I could then put down, yep, I called at this date on this time. It was a phone call or a text or social media, whatever you did. And then I could type in any notes about that call that took place and log and complete. Okay. In fact, let me just do that real quick on this one. Is just put in here test. And if I come down and hit log and complete, what it will do then is you'll notice right here it has this check mark next to it. So it lets me know I have contacted him. Then this next one, here it is, and I could either reach out, I could skip, or I could mark done. So however you want to do it on there. But so the idea would be just every day, log in, go do those, call those 5 people, and you're good to go as far as contacting your SOI. Okay. All right. The next thing down is the activity feed. So this activity feed is going to show you what activity is going on within your account. And you'll notice on mine here, it shows this top one is one neighborhood news email sent. The next one down is a neighborhood email sent, neighborhood email sent. Look at this one here. One subscriber opened my neighborhood news. So it's just going to show you what's going on as people are interacting and doing things. It will keep track of it here. Same thing on this one. If I click on the gear icon, it pops up the settings and I can control what do I want it to keep track of. Do I want it to keep track of website activity, email activity, presentation activities, automated activities, and then for what time frame? I've set mine to, I want to see it to show in there for the whole month. If you, the busier you get, you may say, I only want it to show 3 days or a week or 2 weeks, whatever. But so that's the activity feed. Is just going to show you what's happening. This to-do list is, the to-do list is going to be any tasks or to-dos, reminders that you've put into the system. So if you put a reminder in the system, it's going to show up right there. The other thing you can do as well from here is you could add a task in as well. So if I click on add a task, it's going to just pop up and give me the option here to type in whatever task I wanted to do. So I could just type in right here, here's the task that I want, and then once it's done, come in and mark it as complete, and then it just will disappear again. Okay. So any tasks that you have in there or you want to add, you would do it from here. And if there are transaction tasks, you can see those from within here as well. Okay. All right. Next is the calendar. So this is going to sync up with your calendar in Gmail as well. So as you put appointments and stuff in, you can see them here. So you can see that it's got me staying at the Marriott down the street. All right. Next is the sales flow. So this is the idea of the sales flow. Think about the sales flow as the funnel. Okay. This is a funnel that at a glance, you can go into Moxi Engage and see what your funnel or your pipeline is looking like. And let me explain what each of these is. So the marketing, you can see I've got 39 people in that marketing part of the funnel or the sales flow. Marketing is going to just be anybody that you're wanting to market to. Anybody that you've got into the Engage system that you're wanting to market to is going to show up there. So that number is probably going to always be the biggest number of the 4 that you have up there. The idea of prospects is going to be, these are people who have expressed an interest. So the marketing section is people you're marketing to that maybe haven't expressed an interest yet in buying or selling, but or think of it as even just your SOI. I'm going to have all my people in my SOI in that marketing piece. And I'll show you how we control that in a minute. Prospects then are going to be people who have expressed an interest. The actives are people who you're then actively working with. So you've either got a listing agreement signed with them, or it's a buyer that you're out showing properties to. Those would be active. And then pending, obviously, is once you get an offer accepted, that they're going to show up in pending. So again, the idea is you're starting with a big number, and then each of those should progressively get smaller. I mean, it'd be great if it went the other way, but that wouldn't really make sense. But all right, the next thing on this dashboard is this goals completion. So whatever you had put in as your goal in terms of income, the system is then connected with the dash system, the back end of Century 21, to where as you do transactions, it's going to show up here as well. So you'll be able to keep track of, hey, based on what my GCI goal was, how much money have I made this far in the year, and to show you what percentage of your goal you are working towards. Oh, yes. Yeah, you would have to do that. And so the other thing for Anissa and you, when you're in the manager dashboard, you can go through and see each of your agents if they're on track towards their goal or not too. But,
Oh, you don't have it.
Okay.
I have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
well, what except for what you were asking,
The GCI.
wait, go back right there, that gear.
Okay.
Is where, I think that's where she was saying
Yeah.
you
have to
display it or
click
not.
up.
Okay, so actually let me on the screen. That's a good question. Let me see. What? It's not time already. Is it really? All right. Let's see. Apparently I haven't had any closings. I don't know. I would think this would be on, what it looks like right there, and this is off. Yeah, to the right should be on, left is off. All right. It's supposed to automatically. Well, so my guess is that it's probably going to take a little bit. I'm guessing once you turn it on, it's going to have to cycle through to show up. So I'm guessing, but if not, then I better find out because I'm not 100% sure on that. All right. The next one down on the dashboard is my listings. And this is where it's going to keep track of your active listings and your closed transactions. And I don't know why it's spinning. Oh, of course, I hit refresh the page right as it came up, but all right. Let me scroll back down here. So yeah, I am curious about that. I may have to call to find out because you're going to see here in a second on mine, once it loads, it'll show my closed transactions and stuff. So I don't know why it's not showing the percentages. So yeah. Right. So here's where it would show the actives. And then if I click or pendings here, I click on solds and you can see it's brought up. Here's the sold properties that I have had. So yeah, I'm not sure why that's not showing up. But anyway, so that's the dashboard. Okay. So the dashboard is going to be there to just show you kind of at a glance, here's the people you need to call, here's what activity is going on, here's your tasks, here's your calendar, here's where the people are in your sales funnel, here, how you're doing towards your goal, and then any active, pending, or sold listings. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is, and that was the dashboard here. So now we're going to go to people and go to my people. So under this section, and especially that first time you ever log into this, when you go to this people section, oh, oops, that is not what I wanted. Okay, I'm going to cancel out of here. So what it's going to do now is this is showing all of the people that you have in the system. So you can see I have 541 people in the system. But remember when we were back there on the dashboard and it showed that sales flow, it only showed 39 or something like that prospects. That's because these other 500 people, I haven't marked them as anything yet. Okay. So the idea then would be this is from this my people section, here's what the next thing I would recommend that you do in getting the system set up is over here where my mouse is, you see this categorize wizard. What you want to do is click on this categorize wizard. Yep. So right here is where you're going to click on categorize wizard. once I click on that, this is going to give you basically a quick way to go through and get the people categorized, put them into the different categories that you want. Okay. So are you stuck on something, or you're good? Okay. Okay. Sorry. What was that? Yeah. So what we're going to do is you're going to start off with, and so for example, this Amy Bradshaw here, the first thing I'm going to decide is she a client or a non-client? And I'm going to say let me define the difference. Non-client is going to be somebody you don't ever anticipate doing business with. If you think you might ever do business with them, select client. If it's another agent, select non-client, because you're probably not going to sell them a house or help them buy one, right? So on this one, I'm going to click on client for her. Then it's asking me, okay, so she's a client. Do you want to create a marketing plan for her? Do you want to make her a seller prospect, make her a buyer prospect, or go back? So now remember, back to that sales flow, it was the marketing, prospects, active, pending. So what this is saying is, okay, first thing is she a marketing? Do I want her in the marketing section of that, meaning I'm trying to get business from her? Or if she has already expressed interest to me in selling, then I would want to click this. If she's already expressed interest in buying, I would click that. If not, it's just somebody I'm wanting to market to, then I'm going to select this. So that's what I'm going to do with her, is market. The next thing it's asking me, okay, was she a past seller? Is she a past buyer? Is she a past seller and buyer? And she isn't a past client at all. So I'm just going to say none of these. So now it's saying, okay, should we create a marketing plan for her then? Is what it's asking right here. And I click create plan. So now I had in there, I think 39 people in the marketing section. Is that what it was? Something like that. Now, if we go back and look at it, I'm going to now have 40, because we just created her into somebody I want to market to. Make sense? Okay. Let's do the same thing let's do this one here is an agent, this Chris Ferguson. So I'm going to say non-client. So is he a personal client? Is he a collaborator, or should we just remove him from engage? And I'm going to say remove, because I don't necessarily even want him in there. So remove it. Yes, remove. Okay. So now he's been removed from engage. So the same thing again, let's do this one with Byron Terry. So is he a client or a non-client? I'm going to say he's a client. I want to market to him. He's not expressed interest right now. He's not a past seller or buyer. He's none of those, but create a plan. So now I should have 41 people in that marketing. So that's the idea of this. I don't even know who this is, Chad Donahue. So I'm just going to say non-client, remove from engage. Okay, and then if I wanted to show me more, I can click on that, and it brought up here six more. And then same thing, I can go through and decide what I want to do with any of these things. Okay, so non-client, remove from engage, remove. All of these. Cindy Mason, she used to be the manager in Santa Clarita, so I probably don't want to market to her. Remove. So you can just see how quickly you could go through and do this. Market, she's not. Like, you can see how quickly I could go through and do some of these now that same way. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what you want to do, is go through and do all of these. So like, this is my grandpa who's not alive anymore, so I want to remove him from engage. He's an agent, remove him from engage. I don't know who some of these this is an agent, remove from engage. So that's what I'm going to do. So, and in fact, right here, you can see now I'm up to 44 people in that sales flow in marketing. Okay. All right. So that, I'm going to go back to just the people section here. So the people, my people. Is this exciting stuff? Yeah.
Thinking I'm putting the buyer or seller, or that was it. So now I know there's a new category.
Yep, there's a whole new category to do that. Okay. Well, I'll show you. I'll show you how you could move them back. So So, okay, so now from here, let's go, we'll take a look at this one. So this, in fact, the story I told you guys about the cabin and the brother and the sister, this is the brother, Vern Wild right there. So you can see he was a seller and he was a past seller, and that's where it's going to show up as you put them in that way, okay? Now, so I'm going to click on Vern. Actually, no, let me do somebody different. Let me scroll down. Let's find, I think I saw this person in there. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to click on Cindy here. Okay. So now that I've got my contacts in the system, I've gone through and marked them as the marketing or not marketing and all those different kinds of things. The next step is to go into the person itself, and you can then now manage each individual person. So for example, what I want to get to and showing you is neighborhood news, but I'm going to show you one other thing first. And that's based on what Yvette was just asking. So right here up at the top, if you can see where my mouse is, you can see this marketing is highlighted and it's black right here. Next to it in gray is prospects. So the ones you were talking about, the people that you made as a prospect. So in fact, I'm going to make Cindy a prospect and I'll show you how you remove her from that. Okay. So I'm going to just say, so right now she's in the marketing part of the sales flow. If I wanted to move her, and the reason I would move her into the prospect status is going to be because let's say I called her or she called me and said, hey, we're thinking we might want to sell. Okay, great. I'm going to now come into here and click on make this person a prospect. So now it's going to ask me, okay, create this prospect. Is it a buyer or a seller? And so I'm going to say it's a seller. Okay. So transaction name is going to be her name, seller. If I have an MLS number, I could put it in there. If it's a non, then I'd put it there. But typically, if they're a prospect, you don't have an MLS yet. So I'm just not going to put anything in there. This is then asking for her address. So let me actually look it up real quick and I'll put it in there just to show you. I have her address somewhere else. I don't have it in my contact. I have her in my contacts, but I don't have her home address. Yeah. And that's the other cool thing is once you do it here, then we'll sync it to your phone. Okay. So let me just throw in her address. Okay, price range, I could put in a target or a range or whatever. I'm not going to worry about any of that stuff. You can put in the commissions, all this stuff. And then I can also have associated people with her. So I'm pretty sure I have her husband in here too. So let me put him in and let's see. So there he is. Okay, so now I've got those two connected and then I hit done. So now once I hit that done, you can see now. So Yvette, what it's done is see how this was black and now it's white and this one's now black. Oh, so you figured it out. All right. Yep. Okay, so once I put them in as a prospect though, you can see it's got all these tasks down here for me to do too. Yep. So if I wanted to move them to active, which would be up here, I just would click on this and it would move them to active. But since I want to go back to marketing, I'm going to come up here and delete or deactivate the transaction. So I do that, deactivate it. And what you'll see here is it's refreshed and it's put her back in the marketing section. So that's how you would move somebody from the prospects backwards at any time. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now, have I lost everybody already? You're okay, good. Phil shook his head. No, I'm good. So that's the thing I always struggle with training on this stuff is you have so many varying levels of some people are like speed it up and other people are like slow it down, you're going too fast. Okay, next though. So again, under this, I'm in the people, my people, I've selected a contact and now I'm within it. If I click on profile, this is where I can control email addresses and you can see I've got two different ones for her, phone numbers in here. I could click on this, see what you're missing. And if I click on that, then it'll bring up and show me, other things that I may not have in there that I would want to add in, but I'm just going to go back to profile. Okay. Right here, see what you're missing. Sorry, I don't know how well you can see my mouse, just this black thing right here. Did you ask what it was? Or, oh yeah, right there. Okay, the next thing on the side over here is this notes. And so when you click on that, this is where it would have any notes that you have typed in. And you can click on edit here, and is where I would type one in if I wanted to. Activity is going to show me any activity that has gone on. And so when I click on that, you can see it shows key activity dates for her. It shows that I put her on neighborhood news and that when I added her to my sphere down here. Okay. Favorites and saves. If she had been on and favorited or saved any properties, searches, that kind of a thing, this is where it would show up. Now, here's the other thing is if I wanted to create a search for her, like a property search, and so let me explain how you would do this, is think about creating a search for properties on here as this is where I would do it if I'm just trying to get them excited about a property or something. If they had contacted me and said, we're now ready to look at properties. So probably here's how I would say to think of it. Think about you would set up this create search for people who are prospects. Once they move to the active phase, I would not have them necessarily searching properties on my website. I'm going to move them to the MLS. That's where I would then go create a portal for them on the MLS. Does that make sense? So the idea of this is almost think of it as I was going to give a bad analogy. I maybe shouldn't. Since we're recording, maybe I won't. But think of it as it's how you're trying to entice them in to becoming an active. So I would use this only for people who are, I would use for people who are prospects. Somebody who says, we've started to think about it, we're not sure, I would come in here and create a search for them. Once they say, yes, we want to do it, I would go off of this and on to the MLS and create a portal for them where it's going to search that way. Just because you have more options on the MLS, okay? All right, next thing as we scroll down here is you can see it's got the marketing plan that she's a seller, but then we had deactivated that. Win more business. So with this, you could this is a way to tell who's likely to list. That's a paid thing that you could do. And then you've got subscriptions down here where you can add, or I've already got her set up on neighborhood news. I was thinking I didn't have her on that. I was going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to go find a different contact that I could set up on that. I think I have my brother in here. I'll go see if I can get him set up. Let's see. Oh, apparently I don't have my brother in here. That's weird. All right. Well, let me see if I can find somebody else just scrolling through here that I would want to set up. All right. Well, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Let's do this one. This would be a good one. Okay. I don't know if I have his email address in here, but that's okay. All right. So I've pulled him up. Now he's one I have not categorized yet. So remember we did the categorize wizard and I could go through and select the people. If you have not categorized them, when you first click on them to go into their name, it's going to give you the ability to do that. So you'll notice it's given me client or non-client, just like the categorize. So I'm going to say client. I don't want to make him a seller or a buyer prospect because he's not that. I just want to do marketing and he's none of those. Create plan. So you can see it's the same process. The advantage of that categorize wizard is you could just do client after, or person after person, versus this, you'd have to go back out, go into the next contact. So the categorize wizard is just a shortcut to doing that, okay? So now with him, I'm gonna come down here and you can see subscriptions here. So I'm gonna click on this to add a subscription for him. The two different options I have is neighborhood news or listing announcement. So let me explain. I'm going to explain listing announcement first, then we'll do neighborhood news, because listing announcement is going to be a much shorter explanation. But to me, when I first saw this without knowing what it was, I thought listing announcements was that search that we just showed you on the last one, but it's not. This listing announcements is every time I list a property, notify Steve. Well, yeah, that this contact. So every time I list a property, so this isn't listing announcements is not, to me, it seemed like that would be something you would set Steve up on to be like, notify him every time a listing comes on that matches his criteria. This is saying notify him anytime I list a property or sell one, notify him. So not a bad idea, but I just want to make sure you know what it is. Neighborhood news, though, this is, which Charlene brought up before she left, is that how cool people think the neighborhood news is, and I 100% agree. So I'm going to click on add subscription. So when I click on that to add him to the neighborhood news, it gives me two different options. One is a quick option and the other is a custom. The quick one would be just set up to send him everything in the zip code, or I can do a targeted search. Most of the time, I'm going to recommend for you to do a targeted search. And here's why. So I'm going to click on this targeted search here. Okay, so once I click on that to do a targeted search, it's loading up properties from the MLS and the map. And for whatever reason, it loads up the map based on where your office is, or at least that's how mine always does it. Is that what yours did too, Lisa? So from there, you could come up here and type in their address if you want. And maybe, I don't know if the reason it did that is I probably don't have his address in the system. So let me see if that is, I'm guessing that probably is why. Okay. So from here, you can see whatever is showing on the map are the properties that are showing up here. Okay. So if I were to set up this neighborhood news as is, it's going to notify him about any property within this map area. And if I zoom out, it's going to now bring up even more properties. So when I go through here, it's got all these properties there. Well, you don't want that many. So typically you're either going to want to just zoom in like what I've done here, or even better is I'm going to slide this over, because where he lives, where he lives is going to be right in this area right here. Okay. But I'm actually going to let this be show quite a bit bigger of an area, and I'll show you why here. So I've got it designed of showing this much of an area right there. Well, that's a ton of properties, and I don't want to send him all those. So think of neighborhood news this way. Everybody likes to know what's going on in their neighborhood. So what you want to do is make sure you've set this up to be inclusive of their neighborhood, but you also want to make sure that it is like meets kind of just what they're looking at, or what they're looking for. Or sorry, let me re-say that. Think of it as basically what I want to set this up to do is to once a month send to him a CMA. Now it's not a full-blown CMA, but it's going to send to them, here are properties that are like yours that are have either come on the market in the last month or are under contract or sold in the last month. Okay. So what I want to do then is with these filters up here is I could select a price range, but I don't really want to do that because I want it to kind of give him an idea of what his price is. So if I could select beds and baths if I want, if I know kind of the gist of the number of beds and baths he has. But for sure on his, he lives in a townhouse. So I don't want it to send him multifamily. I don't want it to send him manufactured. I don't want it to send him single family. I basically want it to send him townhouses is all I'm going to do. So now I'm going to hit apply, and that should change what this all looks like right here. So you can see if I zoom in here a little bit, that's still a lot of properties, which I don't really want that many.
You consider 6 a lot.
Well, no, if you look right here, there's 17, 45, 22. Yeah, that's more what I'm meaning. So I am going to come here and I'm just not positive I remember what his square footage is on his house, but if you looked it up, I want to say it's probably around 2,000. So I'm just going to say from 1,800 to 2,000 square feet on this townhouses. Let's see if that narrows it down a bit. Okay, that's a little better. There's still quite a few there. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more even. Well, because yeah, I don't even want that many. I don't want all of those. I want it to limit it more. So you can kind of create the map to be showing what you want it to. And even better is what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to this. You could do it based on schools, or you can do it by drawing on the map. So I'm going to just say draw on the map, and I'm going to just try to get properties. So I'm just going to kind of draw, and you just click however you want it to be drawing here. So you can see, you can create whatever kind of a pattern you want there. So I'm saying, okay, give me only the properties that reside within that. And so you can see there's 2 actives that are similar square footage and stuff of what his townhouse is. And then you can see there are a few solds. So for me, I'm like, okay, that's good enough. Now, here's the idea of this. Let me make sure you guys understand this. When I first got introduced to this was before you could do it on a computer. But we had a guy come to our office sales meeting that was a salesperson for Top Producer, and which was a software program that you could put on your computer back then. And he said, I'm going to give you the best marketing idea you've ever heard for your SOI, and none of you are going to do it. And so for me, when I heard that, I was like, I'm going to do it. And so what he recommended is send once a month to your sphere of influence in their neighborhood, the homes that are for sale, the ones that are under contract, and the ones that are sold. And so I started to do that. Well, here's the good news. That's essentially what we just created. Now, if I wanted to limit it only to his neighborhood, I could do that, because if I zoomed in here, his neighborhood was, where was it? Right here. I could just do that and select that neighborhood. My only concern with doing that for him is the townhouses that he lives in. There are 2 rows of them, so there's maybe 30 townhouses. None of them are for sale. I couldn't tell you the last time one came up for sale. So if I set it up to be only that, so for me, I'm going to set it up to do a bigger area and say, send him every townhouse that's about the same size as his that is for sale or has sold. Now, the other caveat thing that I want to make sure you understand is the way that the solds work is it's sending the list price of the sold. So that's not what it sold for. That's just what it was listed for when it sold. And I think the reasoning on that is that every state kind of has different laws in terms of advertising sold prices. And so it shows the list price. So kind of keep in mind, if somebody called you and said, hey, I saw that townhouse sold for $495 or whatever, you might look it up and see it really sold for, well, some of these might have been in still the height of the market. So it might have sold for $550, but it also could be, no, it sold for $470 or something.
It doesn't show the square footage.
Yeah, that's exactly, is on the actives it will show it, but on the solds it doesn't. So Okay, so once I've selected the area and any of these, the filters that I want to send to him, I'm going to then click next. It's now going to pop up and it's got his email address there for me. And I'm saying, okay, yes, send that. If he has more than one email address, it would show what you can see. He does have two of them there. I could select the other one. So I'm just going to do this one, click next, and send to Steve right here. But before I click send to Steve, it's bringing up right now a preview of what the email is going to look like. So I want to show you guys what it looks like. So what's going to happen is he will get an email from me once a month that looks like this. And for some reason, it's not loading this side. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just being...
The cursor down, you aren't loading it. I mean, you load it.
Well, this side is. This side's not. I don't know why it didn't. This is the full report preview, though. This is the email preview. But anyway. All right. So from here, though, I just would click on send to Steve. And boom, it's now set up with the neighborhood news for him. Okay. So when you go back in to look at their contact information here, it's going to show you when it was last sent. So let me show you what I mean. Let me go back and grab somebody else, a different person. So if I'm going to just go look at Vern here. So if I click on him, it brings it up. For some reason, I have him marked as a prospect. I probably should change that. But if I come down here to neighborhood news, you'll be able to see, here's the activity that it's done on it, and here's the details. So here's the email address that sent it to. It's a custom boundary, and then it will next send on December 6th. So it actually sent it just 3 days ago is the last time it sent it. And if I click on preview here, see if this one will load the preview. So you can see this is what it looks like when it shows up, is it's showing the properties that are there. And then here's the change in the past 12 months with prices and all of this information though is based on the zip code. So the properties is based on the map you created. This now though is going to show for the zip code. So like in the zip code, the number of listings is 801 and sold is 77. Median price, what the sold median price is, average days to sell, all that information. And then you can see it's got my picture, all my contact information. So that's what it looks like for what it sends to them. All right. Last thing that I want to show you on this is the groups. So you can see within the contact, as I scroll down here, is use groups to organize your people. So think of groups as being a tag or just you categorizing the people into a group. So from here, I could click on this add to group, and here's the different groups that I've created so far. And so if I wanted to add him to one of these groups, I could just go click on it and bam, now he's part of that group. Now, in the event that I wanted to create other groups, so I can't from here create a brand new group, but if I go back here to my people section, you can create as many groups as you want. So right here is this edit groups right here. If I click on edit groups, I can click on create a group. And then right here, I would just name it whatever I wanted to. Since he had a cabin, I'm just going to put cabins, like people who owned a cabin. And then boom, now you can see there's that as a group. And then I could go back to him and add him to that group. And you can have as many groups as you want and as many people in a group as you want. But the idea of that is then from here, I could do a sort based on just people in that group. Okay. All right. I can tell I've overwhelmed you. So Any questions? You good with engage? All right. You want to learn more? Frank's like, no, I want to go. Okay. So I'm going to go and show you present next. So I'm actually just going to show you two more. I'll talk about impress, but I'm going to show you these other ones. We won't take as long on these as what we just did on engage. But so I'm going to go into present. So Moxi present, to access it, you just would click up there at the top where it said present. So remember, from anywhere within the system, if I'm in engage and I want to go to present, I just come up here and click on present. If I wanted to go to the website, I just click here and I go to the website, impress, and it'll go there. So even though they're different systems, they're all kind of included in the same one. So Moxi present. Moxi present is your CMA program, and you're going to love this, because this one, as far as doing CMAs, is so cool because it's very simple to go get comparables, and it automatically puts them into your CMA presentation program. Although what I taught you guys today on the listing presentation is you are the listing presentation. It's not your paperwork, whatever. But okay, so from here, here's the options I have. Is from here I can create a new presentation. So if I'm wanting to do a CMA for somebody, this is how I'm going to do it, okay? Is I'm going to come in here and click create new, and then what is it? What type of presentation? A seller, a property review. So if you were just wanting to do a property review for somebody, a buyer tour, buyer, or non-listing. So I'm just going to say it's a seller. I click continue. From here then, the options that I have is the brokerage templates, and you can see there's one brokerage template. But if I click on this, it brings up the Century 21 parent company. From within that, there are a bunch of different templates that I can choose from. So you're usually going to want to click on that to get the Century 21. Yes.
I got time now. Just keep jumping there.
No, I don't know. I got to look at it.
Okay. I got to go back now to the, I'll figure it out myself. Right here, C21 login. Well, it's not loading really well. Okay.
Hit that. Do your fingerprint.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's because you got to put it over there. All right, enter your passcode then, if you know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure why it timed you out. That didn't make sense. But okay, from here then, what I'm going to do is decide which of these I want to use. So this one's the commercial presentation print, commercial presentation tablet, Find Homes and Estate presentation print, Find Homes and Estate presentation tablet. So Find Homes and Estate is kind of the upper end properties is what you would choose that for. This one is the Century 21 listing presentation for tablets, or just the listing presentation. So I'm going to select that one. You can see there's 56 pages on this one, 60 on that, but good enough. There's also a version that has in Spanish. So I'm going to click continue though. So I selected the residential listing presentation, continue. Who's it prepared for? So you would just put in whoever you're preparing it for. I'm just going to put today's date. And then you want the classic or the luxury? I'm just going to do classic, create. Okay. So that's going to take a second. You'll see it spin here in a second that it's creating that presentation. So now it's spinning. What's going to happen now is it's going to pop up for me to put in the subject properties information. So you can see it's got the prepared for here and whatever you named it. You can copy data from the MLS. If you know an MLS number, which I'll just pull one of these in, one of these three that I've used before, you could type in that there. If not, then you just come down to here and put in the address. So I'm going to just copy in this MLS that it had. Let's see what it does. Let me try a different one here. Okay, good. There we go. That's what I wanted. So this one pulled up. You can see the photo from the MLS it's pulled up. It's pulled up all the data for that property right here as well. So it's got a map. It's got all the address. It pulled in everything that from the MLS, including the agent or the remarks, the public remarks that were on there. So I've got all the information here. So this is why I was wanting to show you how easy this is to create a CMA. is if the property has been on the MLS before, you can just put in the old MLS number, put copy, it loads it here. Then from here, I just scroll to the bottom and hit continue. Then from here, now it's doing that same thing we just did on the neighborhood news. It's brought up the MLS based on the area that it's showing these properties, which I don't know why it's landed me totally even outside of Salt Lake County, but that's fine, whatever. So from here, then I would go on the map, decide where I want it to be. And again, I don't know why it's showing Centerville here, but I could go type in the address here if I wanted it to go to a certain. So if I click on it like that, you can see, boom, now it's brought it up. So this condo that I just typed in my home address, which is here, but this townhouse that I just did was right in here, okay? So it's now brought me to here. So I'm gonna just say, I want it to do, this one gives me an option of a radius. So I'm gonna do that and just say from right here. And then if I drag out, you can see it just creates this radius search. So did that pick up any properties? It's not looking like it. Yeah, no results found. So let's try doing it a little bit bigger. See if we can get anything here.
I know I typed it out. My machine doesn't automatically.
Oh,
I was at home on the computer.
oh, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, from here, it looks like it's not pulling up any properties. Not sure why. So let's clear that out then. Oh, that's why, because it's trying to find only condos and it's a townhouse. So I just went to the filters. I'm gonna change it to townhouse. It's got the square footage and all that stuff. Now let me apply it and see if that, okay, that brought up some. So from here again, so again, it's the same concept. I'm just gonna go on my map here. I've got my filters. You will notice though, and is under the filters, I've got a lot more filters to choose from. Before, when I clicked on filters, it had just the property type, and then I could put in the square footage. Here I could do a lot size, acreage, year built, all of that kind of stuff that I can decide on, pendings, coming soons, all that. But and anything that's changed in the last 90 days, or I can say year, whatever, short sales, bank owned, hit apply, and then boom, it's brought up all of these different properties that match. So now from here, here's the difference on neighborhood news. On neighborhood news, we were getting just all the properties within the map. On this one though, we've brought up all of the properties on the map. Now we're going to go through and select which are the comparables we want to use. So on this one, I would go through and be saying, okay, I want to use this comparable. I want to use this one, this one, this one, you know, and there's a pending. So I want that one. That's an active. I want that one. I want that active. So I just go through and select the ones that I want, then hit continue. Once I hit continue here, that's now going to bring up, here's the properties that you selected. So I have 2 active, 1 pending, and 3 solds that I selected. Gives you the summary. Here's the information about the listings to where I could go and copy it to a custom listing or replace it, get the listing details, whatever. For the most part, what you're going to do once you get here though, is just make sure you got the properties you wanted selected. Then I'm going to hit continue. From here, it's given me now an estimated price of the property. If I'm good with that, I could leave it. If I wanted to do a range, I could do create range and type in a range there. But you can see it's also got some of the stats here, the different information about the properties. And then if I wanted to do a seller's net sheet, you could do that right here on this estimated net proceeds, and I could create the proceeds right there. Once I'm good with that, I click continue. And now it's done. Essentially, I've created the presentation. Here it is. And so you can see I'm now to my 55 pages for my listing presentation, to where this is page 1 and I can look at it, see if I'm good with it. If I'm good, I don't have to do anything. If I don't like it and I want to delete it, click right here to remove. Here's a side-by-side comparison. So you can see it's dropped in the photos, the status, it's got all the information about the properties, similar to how an appraiser is going to do it. Here's a status comparison, listing averages, price and days on market to kind of just show here's where they're at based on the price and how long they've been on the market. This one's going to show price and size. So here's the idea. You probably don't want all 55 pages. So you'd want to just go through and decide which ones you want to use, which ones you don't want to use. Here's the price analysis. So you can see, you just go through. If I had created the seller's net sheet, it would show here. I didn't create one, so there's nothing here, but that's where it would show. Here's your agent profile. Here's your promise to them. And this is all just boilerplate stuff that's in there. A checklist to sell your property, sell your home. You can just go through all 55 pages to see which ones you want to use, you don't want to use. And then you can save this as a template. So the idea then being is if I went through and decided, and I would recommend doing this, go through and decide which pages you want and what you don't want. And then if you save it as a template, then the next time through, you don't have to delete those pages. That'll save it to where it's already how you want it. Go ahead, Frank. I've never used I know what RPR is. I've never used it, so I don't know. Other than my guess is, well, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Do you know? Yeah, I don't know enough about RPR to know if it's better or worse. So for whatever reason, I heard about it from agents down here and I tried to use it in Salt Lake and it wouldn't work. So that's why I don't really know. So from here, then I could send this to them if it's in web view, or if I change it to print view, then I could print it as well. So if you're wanting to print it, you do that. If you're wanting to email it to them, do web view, and you would send from here. So, all right. And then if I go back to the home page on that one, what you'll see is here's all of the ones that I've created, and here's the one we did today. So, all right. You worn out? That's the hard part, is like this technology stuff, like it's like, okay, so I'm going to just show you real quick the website stuff and then we'll be done. Does that work? And if you need to go, you're welcome to. But so the next is websites. Under the My Websites section is you all have a website that the system has created for you. So when I clicked on that to go to the website, so from right here, just My Website, it's going to load up then this, which takes you to the basically the administrative part of your website. But to just see what your website looks like, if you click right here on view, up in the top left, it says visit site. It's going to open it up to where you can see, and all of you have one already created. It's got a picture in the background. I've edited mine. I've added this, but most of this information that's in here is just default. Like I have done a couple of things, but for like this open houses section is not a default one there. That's one that I added, and I'll do a training later on this to how to do that. That's more of an advanced. But from here, basically, once you land on this part of the website, click on the top left where it's like visit your website so you can see what it looks like. But then from here, here's the common tasks that people like to do. And you would just click on this, go there. It's going to load the website for you. Or sorry, not the website, the back end of it to where you could personalize it. And it's going to ask here, do you want it to be a search focused website or an agent focused? The only difference is, and I don't know how well you guys can see it. Let me see if I can blow this up better. Is the search focused is going to have this search for properties here. Agent focused is it's more advertising you as the agent. So you just decide which one you want of those, is the search focused or agent. I would recommend search focused, but if you want something different, you could do that. Then to get back to the home page, I just click home right here. And then the next one is personalize your homepage. So I'm just going to hit those two, that one, and then this one, and then we'll, like I said, I know it's a ton of information, which is why I'm recording it too, so you can go back and watch this. But here's where you can title what you want your homepage to be called. This is where I can show a single image, and I could upload or choose an image. So this one here is one I've chosen. It's not the default. So if I wanted to change it though, I just click on choose image, and then I go to image gallery, and here's the different ones you have to choose from. So you just scroll through here, find the one you like, which that's what I did until I got down to, where is it at? Right there. I found this one and I selected it. Okay. Yes. If you want to do that, you would just choose upload right here from your computer, confirm that you own the copyrights, and then it'll let you upload the picture you want. Yep. So the next thing is, what do you want the text color to look like? So let me open, or I have it still open here. Yeah. So this text color, do you want it to be white or black right there is what you're deciding. And you can see I have mine as white. What do you want the background effect to be? Darker, lighter, none, whatever. Show simple custom text. Find your dream home. So you can see that's what I titled it here. Whatever text you type in right here is going to show up right there on your thing. So you just decide what you want it to say. Your name, your title, which again, so that's where this is going to be showing. And then the image, you can put your photo. Here's all of that kind of stuff, contact information, license number, the text that you want it to show here. And the good news is, on the Zap site, you didn't have the option of adding videos and stuff. I could actually add a video into this one, and that's going to show up right here. This where it says, welcome to my website, is all just what I typed right there. So, and this is an HTML editor. So if you wanted to put links, videos, all kinds of stuff, you can put those in there. And then down here is featured properties. So you can see that's this. If I wanted to call it something different, I would just type that in there. And then you can see I created this other one that was an open houses this weekend. And I want it to show the open houses that are going to happen this weekend and how many, 20. And so, whoops. Back to here, that's what this is. And so that's how you control that. And then if you wanted to have a blog and some useful links, all that other stuff, which I haven't done any of that yet, but that's where you would do that. The website, is that what you're asking? Yeah. So the way that they're going to find it is whatever advertising you're doing. If you put it on your business card or whatever. So like for me, I haven't created the link yet on this, but I went and bought russorchard.com. What I would do is forward russorchard.com to here, and then I could put on my business cards or whatever the website russorchard.com, and then it would link them here. So yeah, the only way you people, so the two options I guess is you can through MoxiWorks for a paid thing have them get you leads using this, but outside of that, it's whatever you do to market it. Is oh, are you? Yeah, I'd switch to this then, but then it's free. Well, let me rephrase that. Broker provided. Nothing's free. The company pays for it, but yeah. Yep, your existing domain. Yep. That's exactly what I would do. So anyway, so from here then, once I'm done with that, I would come back to here, and then you could just do those same things on all of this stuff. Manage your property list. Here's where you can add your client testimonials. Just click on that, and then you would add in your testimonials and stuff there, whether they're hidden or not. But anyway, for the sake of not overwhelming you, because I can already see Yvette's sleeping, so I'm just kidding. I know, I'm teasing. Go ahead. Yeah, you're welcome, Frank. Uh-huh. Yes. Yeah, so his question was, just in case, I don't even know if Heather's still on. Are you still there, Heather?
I'm here.
Okay. Not
Yeah,
that it
thank you.
matters, but I was just going to say, I was going to repeat his question, but if you're not there, I won't worry about it. But
Oh no, I'm here.
his question was, can you import or export out of the system? Yes, you can import. So if you had some people that you wanted to import into there, you can do that. So Just from here, I'll show you real quick how you would do that. And then if you have any questions, Heather, let me know. But I don't know what happened to my, oh, yes, I do. Okay. All right. So from here, inside Engage, if I got to switch to agent mode here. I go to the people, my people. So this is where you were asking for. From here, if I come over on this little gear icon right here, once it loads the people, there we go. Maybe, yeah. I click on this, it has import contacts right here. And if I click on that, I can get an example CSV file that I would download. And then from that download, I could put the people in there. Then I come back to here and do the import contacts right there and select file. It's going to pop up to pull it up from my computer, and then I can import them there. So cool. All right. Any other questions? All right. Thanks for being here.